It's the worst we've seen it, and my father-in-law have seen it since they've been here. There's been bare paddocks and drift and dust storms. We didn't have a harvest for a couple of years. The mix of emotions is you go from being hopeful that it's going to rain and the forecast says it's going to rain in a couple of weeks, so then you're getting all excited and then nothing comes. Yeah, it's a slow, gradual build-up of stress and worry and disappointment, and then yes, we love rain and we need rain, but it doesn't mean the drought's over. It's different what's happening actually on farm, not just what the media portray.
Drought is a bit of the forgotten challenge in 2020. So what we typically see in a drought cycle is that as soon as any rain comes, there stops being a lot of attention to drought, even though for most people in most drought regions, you won't be out of drought yet. And even when you are officially out of drought, that doesn't mean the impacts of drought stop. So the normal thing we tend to see is that for people who've experienced an extended drought, the economic effect of that drought and the psychological effect of that drought can continue on for quite a long time afterwards. Just because you've got rain doesn't magically return income, doesn't magically pay off your debts. And also you need time before you recover psychologically from the challenges of some of the decision making you've been having to do. We do hear from a lot of people that they feel like they're the only ones struggling after drought ends. And we can sort of see these responses from thousands of people and they're all telling us, I think I'm the only one struggling. So we know that it's really common after drought to sort of feel like you should be celebrating, but also to feel like, well, I'm actually exhausted. I'm really tired. I've got so many new decisions and things to think about that for me, it's not a celebration yet. So one thing we need to do to help people through that post-drought stage is to encourage people to be able to feel like they can talk about that openly. So letting people tell their story of what's happening to them without necessarily trying to solve it is a really key thing. And giving people that permission to talk about what's going on without feeling like they'll be judged.
We put a lot of things into motion to sort of look after our well-being physically and mentally. I notice I get stressed in my shoulders or in my tummy. I just don't feel quite well, so I spend my time in the garden and a patch of green to be able to come out and enjoy. So that's my well-being, as well as having a place for the kids to play on the grass after school and stuff like that. A big one was noticing it in each other and saying it. You seem not quite right, or you seem a little bit stressed. It's hard to have that conversation, but if you can do it and be open about it, it helps you identify what those little stresses are, I suppose. So then when those tough decisions come, the decisions can be made sooner rather than later because you've always had those open conversations. There's no hiding away from it. And just to make it decision, whether it's a little decision or a big decision, is huge. To sustain this farm, we looked into starting a native flower farm. Hopefully if we can get plants in the ground, and by 3 to 5 years time, if another drought cycle is coming, we've got another form of income and we can still sustain what we're doing, so then we can pass that on to our kids if they decide to stay on the farm and keep doing what we're doing.